Happy morning, students. I am your RVR sir. Today in this class we are going to discuss one more important, excellent, useful concept, which is nothing but nickel prism of our polarization unit. So in this class we are going to discuss an important concept called Nickel's prism. Sir William Nickel, in the year 1828, he invented this prism, hence named it as Nickel prism. What is the use of Nickel prism? In the sense we are having lot of applications. A nickel prism, one behind the other, is used in the optical microscopes to study the optical properties of the minerals, crystal structures, rocks, etc. Hence it is very much useful for the engineering students particularly. Now, what is meant by nickel prism? We have to concentrate on the concept directly. Nickel prism is nothing but an optical device used for producing and analyzing the polarized light. How it works? It works based on the phenomena of double refraction, in which the one of the refracted light ray is completely cut off by the prism itself, and the other ray is simply transmit out and acts as a plain polarized light. Now we are going to discuss the construction of nickel prism, working of nickel prism, and applications of nickel prism. For the construction of nickel prism, we need to construct the nickel prism. This can be easily understood with the help of this diagram. So, nickel prism is made from the doubly refracting crystal itself, whose length is 3 times than that of its width. Let AB is the unpolarized light ray, this is, I represented this unpolarized light ray with the two components. One is horizontal component, other one is vertical component. It is an unpolarized light ray. Unpolarized light ray. AB is the one end face, CD is the other end face of the crystal. I will use the color checks also for getting better diagram in order to understand the diagram carefully. This is the original crystal, doubly refracting crystal. For manufacturing of this particular nickel prism, we made it as grinded in such a way that the angles in the principal plane became 68 degrees and 71 degrees. We will discuss it one by one after the completion of this particular diagram. This particular blue colored diagram indicates, lines indicates that this is Canada balsam layer. What is Canada balsam layer? Why it is used? We will discuss it everything. Don't bother about it. This is the Canada balsam layer. And then whenever an unpolarized light is incident on the nickel prism, it undergone two refractions. One is extraordinary ray, another one is ordinary ray. As we already discussed in the double refraction concept itself. The extraordinary ray is having the vibrations parallel to the principal plane or section of the crystal, and the ordinary ray is having the vibrations. This is extraordinary ray, perpendicular to the principal section or principal plane of the crystal. So always we represent the ordinary ray perpendicular components with dot marks. That indicates that these light ray is having the light electric vector perpendicular, vibrating in the plane perpendicular to the principal section of the crystal. And then the end faces A, B. Here the angles became 68 degrees. Here the angle becomes 112 degrees. And then here the end faces, that is top and bottom surfaces, are coating with lamp black. I represent that lamp black coating with the green color chalk mark. These two are coated with lamp black. What is lamp black? Why we are coated that lamp black in this one? We will discuss one by one everything. This is the ordinary ray. So this is the what we call it as construction of the nickel prism. What Sir William Nicol actually constructed in the year 1828. So it consists of, or simply we can say that nickel prism is made from the doubly refracting crystal itself, whose length is 3 times than that of its width. For example, if width is 5 centimeters, then length becomes 15 centimeters. If width is 10 centimeters, then length must be 30 centimeters. And then the end faces A, B and CD are highly grinded in such a way that the angles in the internal principal plane become 68 degrees and 112 degrees instead of 71 degrees and 109 degrees. Here the angle becomes 112 degrees. So this is done in order to increase the field of view of the nickel prism. What is field of view? For example, when we are viewing through a telescope or microscope, we can able to view only certain region. The region up to which we can able to view, that region we call it as field of view. Similarly, for example, if we consider a binocular lens, when we are viewing through a binocular lens, we can able to view up to certain region only. Excuse me. So the region which we can able to view with that instrument, we call it as field of view of that instrument. Similarly, our eyes are also having certain field of view only. We can able to view diagonally up to certain extent. We can't view back side of ours. Am I right? In the same manner, in order to increase that field of view of the nickel prism, the end faces A, B and CD are highly grinded and polished. Originally, the end faces are represented in the pink color chalk mark. It seems to be like a square, but because of this highly grindedness, that means what I am meaning to tell you, it is like this. The doubly refracting crystal is like the duster, that is in the rectangular shape. But in order to construct that crystal, to make it as a nickel prism, this particular end face is highly grinded in such a way that it becomes like this. The end face AB becomes like a parallelogram. Similarly, the other end face also highly grinded and polished. It became like this. That means instead of square, which I represented in the pink color chalk marks, we are having parallelogram or paralloid that we represented with the white chalk. The end faces AB and CD are highly grinded and polished in such a way that the angles in the principal plane became 68 degrees and 112 degrees instead of 71 degrees and 109 degrees. And then the top and bottom faces of this particular doubly refracting crystal are coated with the lamp black. What do you mean by lamp black? Can any one of you please let me know what do you mean by lamp black? Yeah, lamp black is nothing but soot particles which are formed on the chimneys. In the olden days we are having the hotels or that what we call it as candles and on that transparent glass of that lamp, kerosene lamp, after certain days we can able to observe the soot particles which are formed on that. Those soot particles we call it as lamp black. So the top and bottom surfaces are coated with the lamp black. Why he coated with the lamp black only? Because that lamp black is considered to be the perfect black body. Hence he coated with these two. Perfect in the sense practically perfect black body. That means whenever the light is incident on this particular top and bottom surfaces, that light is completely absorbed by this particular lamp black material. This is the construction of the nickel prism. And the nickel prism is cut diagonally, doubly refracting crystal is cut diagonally along BD. And then the end faces cut diagonally along BD and the cut pieces are highly, what we call it as, polished and rubbed together like this. Highly polished and rubbed. And then they are again jointed with a particular transparent material called Canada balsam material, are cemented together with a transparent material called Canada balsam material or layer. This particular Canada balsam layer has an interesting property that its refractive index lies in between the ordinary ray and the extraordinary ray. We will discuss it when we are talking the working of this particular nickel prism. Right? Now coming to the working of the nickel prism. So far we have completed the what is nickel prism, what is the principle behind the nickel prism and how it is constructed. Now we will go for the action or working of nickel prism. So when the unpolarized light is incident on this particular nickel prism, it split up into two components as we already discussed in the double refraction concept. This phenomena we call it as doubly refraction or double refraction, and the material which is exhibiting this phenomena we call it as doubly refracting crystal. Now this nickel prism is also made with such type of doubly refracting crystals. Hence when the unpolarized light is incident on it, then what happens? Obviously it undergone two refractions. One is ordinary ray, another one is extraordinary ray. But here the important concept is the refractive indices are very important. Refractive index of ordinary ray when it is illuminated with the sodium light is 1.6584 and the refractive index of extraordinary ray is 1.486. But the refractive index of Canada balsam layer, that is very important. Refractive index of Canada balsam layer is 1.55. Refractive index of Canada balsam layer is 1.55. That means the refractive index of Canada balsam layer is less than the ordinary ray and greater than the extraordinary ray. So its relation is like this. Then what happens? That particular Canada balsam layer acts as the optically denser medium for the extraordinary ray, optically rarer medium for the ordinary ray. So whenever this unpolarized light is incident on the nickel prism, it undergone two refractions, ordinary ray and extraordinary ray. When the ordinary ray is travel towards this particular nickel prism, when it is incident on the nickel prism layer, then it undergone total internal reflection. In the sense, it is moving from optically denser medium to optically rarer medium, hence it reflected back. That too, the length of the crystal is large. The ordinary ray incident on the layer at an angle greater than the critical angle, that is 69 degrees. So hence it undergone total internal reflection. What is total internal reflection? Already you might have learned in the previous intermediate classes. If not, anyhow we are going to discuss in the next chapter, that is in the optical fibers. Okay, right. Now coming to the, hence the ordinary ray, when it incident on the Canada balsam layer at an angle greater than critical angle, that too it is moving from optically denser medium to rarer medium, hence it completely reflects back. Now coming to the extraordinary ray. When the extraordinary ray is moving towards the Canada balsam layer, it is moving from optically rarer medium to denser medium, hence it simply transmit out and emerged out, acts as a plane polarized light. Hence it acts as a plane polarized light. Hence this is how the nickel prism is working, and this is how the nickel prism is used for the production of plane polarized light. This is regarding the working or action of the nickel prism. So nickel prism is an optical device used for producing the plane polarized light and analyzing the plane polarized light, in which, or it works based on the phenomena of double refraction, in which one of the refracted light ray, that is ordinary ray, is completely cut off by the nickel prism itself, and the extraordinary ray is simply transmit out and acts as a, what we call it as, plane polarized light. This is how the nickel prism is working. Now coming to the applications or uses of nickel prism. Applications or uses of nickel prism. How the nickel prism is used? In the sense, whenever two nickel prisms placed one behind the other in a what we call it as optical microscope used for the studying of optical properties of the crystal. This is the first nickel prism used for producing the polarized light. We call it as polarizer. And the second nickel prism used for analyzing the polarized light. Hence, we call it as analyzer. So, whenever an unpolarized light is incident on this particular nickel prism, first nickel prism, unpolarized light has two components, arrow component and dot component. This dot component light ray, that is ordinary ray, is completely cut off by the total internal reflection, and the extraordinary ray is simply transmit out. This is the plane polarized light. Now The second nickel prism, which is rotating along the direction of propagation of light ray. If the optic axis of the second nickel prism N2 is exactly parallel to the optic axis of the first nickel prism, then it in the sense the polarized light is completely transmit out. If we turn this particular, we are simply rotating the crystal. If the optic axis of the second nickel prism is now it is aligned like this. For example, for the better understanding, I use a duster. Now it is aligned like this. Now I am simply rotating it. Then what happens? It is perpendicular to the first nickel prism. That means the optic axis of the second nickel prism is perpendicular to the first nickel prism. That means the angle between the optic axis of the two prisms is 90 degrees. Then this particular plane polarized light is completely cut off. No light is observed on the screen or on the object. So this is how two nickel prisms aligned one behind the other in a line or lined up one behind the other in the optical microscope used for studying of optical properties of the several crystals, minerals, rocks. This is the entire concept of the nickel prism. Now, in this particular today's class, we discussed the nickel prism in detail. What is nickel prism? How it works? What is the principle of nickel prism? What is the construction of nickel prism? What are the applications of nickel prism? All we discussed in detail with a full-fledged clarity. Still, if you have any doubts, you can feel free to contact me during our live interactions. All of you note down it. Thank you so much.